Hey there, friends, and welcome to episode 326 of Just the Zoo of Us. This week, I am joined by a science communicator with a love for the little things in life, by which, of course, I mean those tiny little bugs that fly around your nearest kitchen sink. We discuss what Big Pest doesn't want you to know, convergent evolution between bugs and fish, the drain gods, secret spy languages that only bugs can read, and so much more. Just the Zoo of Us presents Moth Flies with Emily, your certified bug friend. Hello there, everybody. It's Ellen Weatherford with Just the Zoo of Us, your favorite animal review podcast. I am so excited. I have a brand new friend to talk to this week. Your videos have been showing up all over my social media. My algorithm is so dialed in. They're like, we know what you want. You want to learn about bugs. So people send me your videos all the time. I'm so excited to finally talk to you. This is Emily. Say hi, Emily.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. And Emily, you make a lot of content on social media. You make videos teaching people about bugs and insects and the joys of the bug world, which I feel like can be a hard sell for a lot of people. I don't know about you, maybe you get this a lot. I get a lot of people who say, I love animals and I love nature, except bugs. Do you see this carve out a lot?
Yes, absolutely. I think bugs get such a bad rap, and I want to be a better PR campaign for them because, like you said, it is the joy of bugs. They are so joyful. Bugs are amazing, and people deserve to know the truth about them.
Yeah, you've been lied to.
Yeah, exactly.
You've been gaslit your whole life. Nobody's ready to talk about how bugs are great. We love bugs. We're pro-bug household. Emily, what got you into bugs? Were you always pro-bug, or did you have to go on a bug acceptance journey?
I mean, I've pretty much always been pro-bug. I mean, I've been a nature freak since the start. I got in trouble all the time as a kid for keeping sticks and rocks and bugs in my desk. There's a story rolling around in my family of the time back in preschool or kindergarten when I went missing after recess. And when my teachers came out to find me, there I was hanging out under a tree covered in ants, just happy as a clam.
Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. She's right where she wants to be.
I was picking them off the tree, putting them on myself. So I think that really kind of set the path, Now,
were they biting you?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Not my concern, frankly.
Exactly. I don't have any terrible memories of that experience. So I think we were just chilling.
That's interesting because I have a lot of memories of being covered in ants as a kid, but they were usually when I stepped in an anthill by accident. But then I guess in that case, I'm in the role of the aggressor, right? Like they have to defend themselves from me. Whereas if you're like already there and you let the ants come to you, then you're just like part of the scenery, right?
Yeah, they're like, this is just our giant human friend.
They're not like in defense mode, right? That's interesting that like you can peacefully let them crawl on you. And since they're not like actively defending themselves from you, they're like, we don't need to bite you.
Yeah, totally. But then throughout school, I didn't really pursue it too much. But my dad was in the field of evolutionary biology and using insect model systems to study human disease.
Wow.
And so he worked with bugs in a bunch of different ways. And I remember once he brought home some of those bugs and I had pet fruit flies for a while.
Wow. Did they have names?
Unfortunately not. I didn't have enough time to get attached to them before they were released into the house and became household pets. And then there were just way too many to name.
Your free-range pets.
Exactly. But yeah, bugs have always been so cool to me, so fascinating. And I never really considered it an option to go into entomology. Like I always struggled with math. I had never taken a biology class. So I knew I wanted to work within nature, but the options are kind of limited without a math or science background. So I went into organic farming, and you know where there are a lot of bugs? In the soil. It would be like, go harvest the carrots. And I'd be like, worms, isopods, beetles.
I mean, you are growing bug food.
Yes, totally. They're like, thank you for our giant farm.
Like, you made this for me?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I really wanted to dig into that from there, but the primary way that farmers work with bugs is through pest management. So that's a lens of, how to get rid of bugs. And I think that's really the plight for many young bug freaks, is trying to find a path to bugs that isn't, how do we kill this thing?
Yeah, a very adversarial relationship with bugs.
Totally. And those jobs do totally exist. They just take some creative thinking sometimes. And I found my entry point in education. I've watched my mom work as an educator, a public school teacher, for my entire life. And I saw the profound impact of her work. And I thought, hey, maybe I could try that with bugs. So I went into museums as an educator. I worked in natural history spaces and botanic gardens, which did not have enough bugs. So last year I quit my job and I started Naturalists Co. and the entomology box. And here we are.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Like, what goes into an entomology box?
So the entomology box is a subscription box service for people who want to learn about bugs and study bugs. So every month I send out a little kit with a different insect specimen and a little info card about that bug and about how to pin that bug, because it is an actual specimen. And then once they're spread, they are so awesome to study, to draw, to frame and hang up. They're just one point of connection with that natural world. And then there's also a little postcard subscription component. So for people who want the bug facts, but without the actual bug, every month I send out a postcard with vintage entomology art and bug facts. And it's just a blast. I love it.
And, I feel like there are entry points for people who are maybe like bug curious.
Totally.
Because a lot of times when I've told people, that I really enjoy bugs or really like insects or something, people are always icked out immediately. They're like, ooh, I don't like bugs. And I'm like, well, do you like ladybugs? And they're like, well, I do like ladybugs. And I'm like, do you like butterflies? And they're like, yeah, I do like butterflies. I'm like, so there's a gateway.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so much of the fear and anxiety around bugs, I think really just comes from a lack of information more than anything, because we receive a lot of information about very specific bugs like cockroaches and mosquitoes and wasps, and all of those are important, and they're kind of like the main bugs that get talked about in really negative ways. So totally, I think being able to just talk about them, just learn about them, is such a powerful way to kind of combat that.
I also think that there's a smear campaign. I think this goes all the way to the top, I fear, because in episodes that we've done of this show where I've had to prepare notes, where I've been doing, kind of trying to do my own research about bugs, a lot of times for a ton of insects, when you just go on Google or you go look up some information about it, you're going to find web pages and stuff saying, here's some facts, here's some information about this insect. And when you open that page and you go to the website, you realize that website is for a pest management company.
Yes.
Who has a vested financial interest in you being afraid of that bug. Because if you're afraid of the bug, you're going to pay them to come get rid of the bug for you. So I think there's scare tactics. I think there's a smear campaign because they want you to be afraid of the bug. 'Cause this is big pest management. This goes all the way to the top.
Yes, I firmly believe this. Actually, I have a whole rant about pests. I'm totally with you. There's a smear campaign.
You've been lied to. You're all being lied to. Take the blue pill, whichever pill it is. I don't remember which one. I haven't seen the movie in a long time. Take whichever pill makes you see through it and join Bug Nation.
Yeah. Get in here, Bug Nation.
Get in the comments, Bug Nation. What I like about a lot of your videos is that a lot of your videos have been about either bugs I had never heard of in my life or something I had never heard of about a bug I had heard of. And the bug we're going to talk about today is one that I have never heard of. Could you introduce us to moth flies?
Yes, moth flies. They're a creature of many names. You may know them as drain flies, sink flies, sewer gnats, moth midge, filter fly. They have tons and tons of names.
None of those are flattering at all. Those are all like really mean names.
Yes. And, that's where the scientific name comes in. We can clear it right up. We're talking about the family Psychodidae, and specifically the subfamily Psychodinae. But I wanted to talk about these guys because you may never have heard of them, but you have almost definitely seen them before. They are super common, and they are generally regarded as a pest, if you will.
I won't, but okay, go on.
Thank you.
I shan't.
But they're amazing. They are these chunky, furry little guys. They are true flies. And they, to me, look like chubby little fairies out in the world. They have these round, fuzzy bodies and these round, fuzzy wings that they hold kind of like tent shaped. And you find them a lot around drains, swimming pools, anywhere where you might find standing water. You're probably going to find some moth flies, some drain flies.
I do feel like I've probably seen them flying around. Yeah, like probably like around a kitchen sink or something like that, you know? Like they do seem... Now, are these like big flies or are they like teeny tiny? Like
they're teeny tiny. They can be anywhere from 2 to 5 millimeters long. So oftentimes when you see them flying, they look like maybe a gnat or something in the air.
A mote.
A mote, exactly. And so a lot of people miss out on how incredibly cute they are because you really have to look at them to see it.
Just a word on the fact that the name of the family includes like psycho right in the beginning of it. And I'm like, are you trying to tell me this little critter, this little guy, this little sprite? Like, what are you trying to say about my boy? This is my son.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to say it refers to their wings, which are kind of iridescent. They're covered in microscopic scales, nanoscopic scales, just like butterfly wings and moth wings. And they give them this beautiful iridescent gray shine. So maybe it's like, psychedelic is what they're going for.
Oh, I see. That does put a more positive spin on it.
Yeah. And that might not be real, but that's what I'm choosing to believe.
Headcanon accepted immediately. I won't think any further on the matter.
Yeah. Great.
Hi there, I am editing this and probably surprising nobody, I did think further on the matter, so I looked it up and found something really interesting. The name Psychotidae comes from the Greek psyche, meaning both soul and butterfly, or sometimes translated as moth. In mythology, this was the name of Eros, aka Cupid's wife, who is often depicted in art with the wings of a butterfly. And the didae part means having the appearance of. So put them together and it means appearance of a butterfly or moth, satisfying my curiosity. Back to the episode.
If you haven't seen them before, look it up. They're so, so cute. And most of the time, what people are seeing is Colomia albipunctata. That's like the main species that we see in North America. But there are so many species. There are over 3,000 described species within this family. So they're going to work, putting out more moth flies every day.
They have a job.
Yes, absolutely.
They're commuting.
And they have been for like 135 million years. That's our earliest known record of these little flies, which means they've probably been around for much longer, right? Our earliest record is just something we happened to find once.
Right.
So they've been rocking for a while.
That's just the needle that made it through the haystack. But listen, if it's not broke, don't fix it. They got it right the first time. They did not. No updates needed.
That's right.
Accepted without revision.
Yeah. Or very, very slow, constant revision over time in the form of evolution.
Over millions and millions of years.
Yeah.
What is your relationship like to moth flies? Have you had a contentious relationship with them, or do you just embrace them as part of your lifestyle?
I embrace them fully. Honestly, I didn't know they existed until I was at my community pool one day, and they were all flying around me, and being a huge bug nerd, I was like, oh, I gotta look at those things. So I'm like kneeling on the gravel top of the community pool looking at these tiny little moth flies. And I'm like, holy cow, these are so beautiful. How have I never seen these before? How do I not know what they are? But I mean, even beyond that, I'm a very live and let live person. There are spiders in my house. There are moth flies near my drain. Well, there would be. There aren't right now, but there would be. There could be. And as long as they're not like actively hurting me, I'm not too worried about it.
Live and let live, definitely. Also, like letting your spiders be at peace in your house, that is natural pest control. Like they will, that is a self-solving problem.
Totally. And that's why, can I rant for a minute?
Please.
Okay. That's why I feel like, speaking of like big pest, pests aren't real. There's no taxonomic or phylogenetic category for insects or bugs that are inconvenient to humans. pests are just insects and other bugs doing the things that they have spent millennia evolving to do in the places they have spent millennia evolving to be in. You know, like, it's wild that we made up a word defining 80% of the living things on this planet by the ways that they inconvenience us.
Right.
Especially because bugs are a significant part of the reason that this planet is livable for humans in the first place. Like, the wasp that's buzzing around your soda is the same as the wasp that pollinates your food. And the ants in your cupboard are the same as the ants that aerate your soil. And the earwig that scared you in the bathroom is the same as the earwig that is cleaning up your yard. So I encourage people to be critical of that word, of the concept of pests. That's it. That's my rant.
A pest to who?
Exactly. Pest is subjective.
To whom? Pest is to animal what weed is to plant, you know? Like, who gets to decide what a weed is? What if I like dandelions?
Exactly.
What if I think they're pretty and cute and I like to blow the puffballs around?
Yes, and a rad food source, and totally.
Who's to say? Who's deciding? Who gets to pick what a weed is?
Not me.
Your weed is my lovely little wildflower.
Yeah.
There's a book, actually, that came out a few years ago. Pests, How Humans Create Animal Villains. By Bethany Brookshire, who joined us a few years ago to talk about the book. And she talked about cane toads.
Oh, cool.
And that's, I do feel like, when you get into like invasive species, that's also a little bit of a difficult term to define, you know, because it's like, well, at what point is it an invasive species? You know, because you've got things like dingoes, right? Like at one point they were an invasive species, but they've been there for thousands of years now. So at what point do you get to go, okay, well, you've been here long enough?
Yeah. The same is true of earthworms. A lot of earthworms are actually invasive. Like, they came over, you know, on ships. A lot of like the earthworms that we see around North America are invasive from European earthworms. But they have been here, you know, they're not anything new. So like invasive versus naturalized versus all the other terms that we use to define things in strict little boxes.
Yeah.
It's gray.
And that's not to say that like invasive species or, you know, the damage from invasive species is not serious, because we talk about that on this podcast all the time. But it also is unfathomable to me to think of a time before earthworms. Like earthworms being introduced is like unthinkable to me. I'm sure there were like different native worms, right? Like it's not like they're just worms, but like the little iconic squiggling around on the sidewalk after a rainstorm, like that kind of earthworm. Weird to me to think that they wouldn't have been here sort of just like spawned into existence.
Yeah, right. Totally.
If this is anyone's first time listening to this podcast, our whole deal is that we rate animals out of 10 in different categories. And the first category is effectiveness. These are physical adaptations, things built into the animal's body, tools it has in its belt to let them do things like maybe find the food that they eat or not become food themselves, you know, make it through the gauntlet that humans have put them through. So what do you give moth flies out of 10 for effectiveness?
Oh my gosh, 10. Hands down. 11 if I could.
What can't she do?
Hardly anything. They are really, really incredible just at surviving. Specifically surviving in watery spaces. They need watery spaces. And that shows up in like every part of who they are as insects, even though they are not aquatic insects. These are terrestrial insects. So, for example, the larvae of some groups have suction cups on their bellies that help hold them in places where water moves a lot, like drains or like waterfalls, so that they're not swept away in these places that they call home, which is so cool. It's amazing.
Right. That's a pretty major, I feel like, structure to have adapted into your body, like a whole suction cup. Because that reminds me of years and years ago, I talked to a researcher, I believe her name was Kelly Diamond, and she studied a goby in Hawaii that climbs up waterfalls using a suction cup on its belly. And just like you were talking about with the moth flies, like being able to like suction onto a surface so you don't get swept up by the fast moving water. But that's a fish, and this is an insect. So it is wild that like that structure would have emerged both of those times.
That's so cool. I love seeing convergent evolution, just two different species out there being like, hey, this'll work.
Yeah.
And then turns out a whole different species has also been like, yeah, this'll work. So cool.
they arrived at the same answer, but did not copy each other's answers.
Yes, exactly. Just good creative thinking that happened to align.
The same brained.
Yeah. But mothflies are also incredibly difficult to drown, which is also helpful in an aquatic environment when you are not an aquatic creature.
Yeah, being resistant to drowning seems like it would help.
Yeah, a big plus for them. They are covered in hydrophobic hairs, both as larvae and as adults. So as adults, this means that they are really hard to submerge underwater. So you can flush them, you can splash them with water, and their hairs, which have little air bubbles trapped in them, will just kind of bloop, pop them right out back on top, and they're totally fine.
Oh, is it making like a bubble around them?
Kind of, yeah. So the shape of their hair basically holds air against their skin. It causes water to just want to roll right off of them. So one, the water doesn't really stick. It doesn't really dampen their hair. And then two, it traps enough air that it can buoy them.
See, we got to pay good money for that. We have to like buy a floaty and a wetsuit and all that stuff. Like,
yes,
they got to
pay the bugs. Yeah. Yeah. And then as the larva, those hairs, which are all over their body, trap the air against their skin. And because they breathe through their skin, they're able to continue breathing air, even if they're fully submerged in water. So if someone was to try and clear out their drain fly problem by like plugging up the sink, those little guys would be fine for over a day, which is really wild because moth flies only live for about 3 weeks. So 1 day of submersion is like 4 or 5% of their life. That's the human equivalent of like 3 years. Like, imagine if every time someone found you annoying, you just went underwater for 3 years.
You were banished. You get a 3-year ban.
Yeah, exactly.
You're banished to the depths for 3 years.
Yeah, and they're like, that's fine, no problem. Put me in the depths. I'm ready to go.
If anyone needs me, you can catch me in the depths.
Yeah. But then the other really, really cool thing is that because mothflies are regarded as pests, we have tried as humanity to kill them in a lot of different ways. And we have found over time that the eggs and the larvae are resistant to bleach and other chemical attacks and like boiling water. And that's because of their relationship with biofilms.
Oh.
So biofilms are like that slippery layer that forms on the sides of drains or on river rocks or any sort of consistently moist environment.
Not a biographical movie. Not like a movie about somebody's life. Not that.
No.
Not that kind of biofilm.
I would watch it.
Yeah.
But no. The really cool thing about these biofilms is that they are living. They're films made up by bacteria who come together, secrete a slippery gel as a protective layer, and then are joined by other microorganisms. And then those organisms take in nutrients from the environment around them and grow. So that biofilm is inside the drains, and that is primo egg-laying territory for mothflies. Because the eggs get that protective slime layer, and that is what insulates them from things like boiling water and chemicals. Joke's on you, pest control. And then they also get nutrients from the biofilm. It's only once they emerge from their pupa that they actually leave that biofilm community.
Huh.
You know, there's so much like nature's metal, survival of the fittest. But it's also the case that nature is collaborative. Nature is creative. Nature is community. And I think that mothflies, they show up in that community.
They're working together. They're community organizers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They know their neighbors.
Yes, they do.
They're doing community aid.
Yeah. Go mothflies. So that's why they get an 11 for me.
That is really interesting to me. And it's also funny to me when, like, you know, humans like to think of themselves as sort of like masters of nature, you know, total apex organism, like we've completely dominated all of the animal kingdom. And then like, except there's nothing we can do about these like 2 millimeter long, tiny little flies that are apparently unflushable.
Uh-huh. Yeah. They're like, dang it.
I keep trying to flush them. They keep coming back up.
Yeah. I love them.
What like tardigrade behavior almost, though, to be like, actually, you can hit me with your best shot.
Yeah, launch me into space. I don't care. I'll be here.
Yeah, mothflies are like, I'd like to see you try.
Mm-hmm. I honestly feel like they don't even notice. They're just like, oh, I'm in the water. I'm back.
Oh, this water is spicy.
Yeah. And the people around them are like, leave. Please leave. But, that's not their job. Their job is to hang out.
Now, with the fuzz, they're fluffy, like a moth. I pulled up a picture. I've pulled up quite a few pictures that I've been enjoying. And they are, supremely fluffy. Like, it is really, it's very cute. And the antennae seem to be fluffy, too. They have those long, bushy sort of antennae. What's going on here?
So those little hairs are called setae. And those are the bits that give them that hydrophobic quality, that anti-water quality. So if you were to really zoom in on those little hairs, you would see that they have this kind of ripply shape to them. Basically, just the structure of them creates that water resistance, that water repelling quality.
That's also interesting to me because, like I said, like this does remind me so much of moths and it looks like moths, but like moths don't do that at all. Like it serves a completely different purpose from what like a very similar structure does in moths. So it's like convergent evolution, but like not, because it's not for the same thing.
Yeah, totally. Different purpose, different function. And actually, even if you were to look at the hairs up close, like really dive into what they are, they're different kinds of hairs that do different kinds of things. So,
wow. Like
the hairs on their body are different from the hairs on their wings. And they all work to do the same kind of function. But it's just, nature is so smart, right? Because they're like, oh, the shape of a wing is different from the shape of a body. We need to make the hairs a little bit different for those places to like really be hydrophobic. So it's rad.
That is cool. Because like you see this in, invertebrates too. The way that an animal that lives in a cold place would have very different hair structures from an animal that lives on a hot place, right? Like, or even like on reptiles, the scales on a reptile's body, like the scales on top are going to be different from the scales on the bottom. Like on a snake, right? Like the scales on the belly are going to be really smooth for sliding. That is really interesting. And I think it's really cool when you like look really, really close at the scales on an insect, because you mentioned that like they look like a butterfly scales. That's really cool to look up close to.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, totally. It's one of those things that makes me realize, like, as a human being, my senses work fine for me to survive, but also are nothing at all. Like I cannot see a butterfly scale, and then I see like a macro photograph of a butterfly wing, and it's amazing. It's incredible. It's like just a bunch of little scales. I mean,
like pixels.
Yes. And they're beautiful, and they're so individual, and we can't see them on the day-to-day, but they're always there.
We really are, as like an organism, reaching the bare minimum in a lot of capacities. Yes. Like we're kind of hitting like just the barely functional level in a lot of our senses. And the one that bums me out is not being able to see all the colors.
Yeah, mantis shrimp are like, get good.
But like even like there's like UV colors like on insects' wings and stuff like that we just can't see. I'm like, I'm sure you look way cooler.
Yeah, totally. Well, and like a lot of flowers have UV signals to insects. Like there are some flowers that they create like a UV runway for bees. So they'll say like, hey bee, come over here, UV. And also here are some arrows pointing you straight to where you want to go.
Right here. Flashing neon sign.
Yeah. Good for the bees. That's helpful.
But also like in a secret code. Like, oh, not everyone gets to see the secret runway. It's like a secret spy language that's just for the bees.
Yeah, we could not steal their pollen, their nectar, even if we wanted to. Couldn't see the signs.
That's not for us. It's not our business. But I admire the mothfly's resilience in the face of, and this is like a completely one-sided beef too. Like we're just absolutely dedicated to getting rid of these things. We're nothing to them.
Yeah.
They don't know we're there.
Yeah.
They don't care about us at all.
Yeah.
They never think about us.
They're like, yeah, this is my wet little house. And I guess sometimes weird stuff comes by. Anyway.
Sometimes it's dark suddenly. It's weird.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a lot more moving water than there normally is, but I don't know why that happens.
And honestly, they love it. That's part of what gives them their nutrients as they're in that biofilm. All the stuff that gets washed down our drains comes into contact with that biofilm, and a lot of it gets stuck in that biofilm. So like hair bits, food bits, soap, scum, just anything that goes down our drains. Great. Like we're out here nourishing that biofilm and keeping those little guys fed, keeping them healthy.
We are like generous gods to them.
Yeah.
Just abstract, sort of like, we don't know. Sometimes a bunch of food shows up, and I wonder if they have little rituals and stuff that they do to try to appease the drain gods.
Yeah. And they have no idea that actually we're out here being like, oh my God, more moth flies. I got to get rid of these things.
Moth flies are like, you guys are so obsessed with us.
Yeah. And they're right. They're totally right.
It's a completely one-sided beef, and that's very funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
Hey there, we're going to take a quick break to hear from a couple of our friends on the Maximum Fun Network. When we get back, we're talking ingenuity and aesthetics for moth flies. So stay with us.
Howdy there. So sorry to interrupt whatever amazing show you were listening to, but it's time for an ad. I'll be so quick and get you back to your show, don't worry. I'm host Austin, one half of a podcast called Secret Histories of Nerd Mysteries that I make with my good friend Brenda. We talk about the pop culture stuff you like Thundercats and Yu-Gi-Oh! Did you know that the Thundercats are cousins with Farrah Fawcett? Or that Yu-Gi-Oh! Once caused a riot? You probably want to know more. You can find us at Maximum Fun or wherever you get podcasts every single Tuesday.
The wizards answer 8 by 8. The conclaves call to demonstrate their arcane gift, their single spell. They number 64 until a conflagration. 63 and 62 they soon shall be, as one by one the wizards die, till one remains to reign on high.
Join us for Taz Royale, an Oops All Wizards Battle Royale season of the Adventure Zone, every other Thursday on MaximumFun.org or wherever you get your podcasts.
The next category that we rate animals on is ingenuity. These are behaviors, things the animal is doing, ways that they're navigating their world. Emily, what do you give moth flies out of 10 for ingenuity?
Maybe like a 2.
Okay. I mean, we had to make up space somewhere, right?
Yeah, I was so ready to like give them 11s across the board, but
No. We need balance somewhere.
Yeah, they're like, let me get into my little biofilm and live most of my life there. And then as an adult, they have these beautiful wings, but they are terrible flyers.
Oh, no.
They just kind of like, they mostly hop and use their wings as supports. And when they do fly, it's like very wobbly.
Oh, honey.
So, like, they're beautiful. And that's enough.
You're enough, moth flies.
Yeah.
That reminds me of weevils.
Oh, yes.
Like watching weevils try to fly, especially like the big, like the giraffe-necked weevils, and you watch them try to fly, and it's like they kind of read an instruction manual on flying, and that was it. And haven't actually done it before.
Yeah, they like heard someone describe flying once, and they were like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I could do that. Like trying to land a plane when you've only ever done the flight simulator.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's so many beetles. A lot of beetles are just not good at flying. And it's so cute.
It's really giving last resort.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like, oh my God, I have to do this. I've never tried it before.
Now with the moth flies, is it just that like the wings are too stubby, or like is it that they're too fluffy or something? Like what's holding them back?
So yeah, moth flies are really bad at flying for kind of different reasons. But I think the biggest part of it is because they are so little and so fuzzy that air is not their friend. Like you have seen maybe like a dandelion fluff or a cottonwood tree, and those little fluffs just kind of float through the air, being blown around by whatever the wind's whims are. And I think that's kind of the case with moth flies too. They're little, they're fluffy, and so they can fly, they can flap their wings, but as they're interacting with the air has a little bit more power sometimes than they do.
Air resistance dialed all the way up, as high as it can go.
Yeah, exactly.
It really maximized surface area, I think.
Totally.
I'm just imagining trying to fly with like feather dusters for wings.
Yes. Oh my gosh. There are insects that do that. That could be a whole nother episode. That's so cool.
So they figured it out.
Yeah.
Go convergent evolve with them.
Come on, moth flies. Get with the program.
You can do it, little fellas. Also, there's something to be said for the sheer audacity of like consistently, like almost like specializing in living in a place that humans don't want you to be.
Yeah, yeah. They're brilliant little guys.
You know what? They took up all their space for fluff and wings. They didn't leave enough room for brain.
Yeah, they have good hearts and
pure intentions.
Pure intentions. And what else do you need?
With me and my bacteria army, what more? What more could you need?
Yeah, totally.
I would wonder almost like, how are they getting from like one drain to another? You know what I mean? Like, how do they get anywhere if they're not very good flyers and they're living in a drain, which is like a pretty sort of isolated system, right? Like if you have a brand new house, right, that's like never had moth flies in it before, and then suddenly there's a bunch of moth flies in your drain. How are they getting there? How are they showing up?
Yeah. Well, I would say part of it is that drains are pretty abundant in our society, right? If you're in one drain, you're in all the drains.
It's the hive mind. It's the drain hive mind.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you head down that drain, next thing you know, you're in the sewer system, and next thing you know, you're in the neighbor's house. And they're not very good flyers, but they can fly. They can and will. And also, I think a part of it is that because they live a lot of their life in that sort of gel of the biofilm, and because they're able to survive being submerged for a while, in the situations where they do get washed away or washed downstream or whatever, that's not necessarily the end for them. They might be totally fine and come up and be like, wow, what a weird little roller coaster I was just on. Anyway, time to start a new family. So I think part of it is just their resilience and the nature of the spaces where they live in, where movement is pretty built in.
They're down for adventure.
Oh, yeah.
Another lesson to be learned from the drainfly. Say yes to adventure. Say
yes.
Go down the sewers.
Go down the sewers. I'm always saying this.
Been saying this. Say yes to the sewers. Embrace the sewer life. Get down there.
Yeah. Like they won't fly themselves around. Can't. But if, something is willing to gently carry them along, absolutely.
I'll take a sewer. Just don't flush them.
Just don't flush them. But you know what? If you flush them, it's fine.
They're like, I'm also cool with that. That actually is fine too. All roads lead to sewer.
All roads lead to sewer. They're not picky. Sewer's all the way down.
Sewer's all the way down. Now, the last category that we rate animals on is aesthetics. It is how nice this animal is to look at. We've been putting a lot of hype in, I feel like, already. We've been building to it, and I feel like this is a good strength of the moth fly. So, Emily, what do you give moth flies out of 10 for aesthetics?
A billion. A million. A trillion. A gazillion.
You know what? The proportions are, chef's kiss. Perfect.
Yes, I have never seen a bug that more perfectly captures the essence of the word rotund. I think
it's a round fellow.
This is a round, fuzzy fellow. And I mean, automatically, that puts it at like a million on the aesthetic scale for me. But then you add iridescent wings and long, fuzzy antennae, and that's it. It's over.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm cooked. Now, I did also, when I pulled up a picture of them, I was looking and I did get a nice glimpse of, like you were mentioning, the like iridescence on their wings. It is quite striking in some of these pictures. Like it is really like, it's like a shiny rainbow coming off of their wings.
Yeah, exactly. They're these fluffy little fairies. I think a huge part of what I love about moth flies is that they are so mundane, right? They're abundant, so much so that humanity views them as pests, like we're sick of them. But if you take a second and you really look at them, they are these incredible marvels. Like visually, they are stunning. They have that iridescence. They have that fluff and that fuzz and all that cuteness in there. And then they also have these incredible adaptations that let them thrive in an environment that they're kind of not meant to live in, but are built to live in. I mean, I think they really capture like the brilliance of the natural world that exists everywhere around us all the time if we are willing to stop and look.
Exactly. Yeah, they're easily overlooked, but if you bother to like take a second, slow your roll, and learn about them a little bit, it's a real treat. It's a real treat.
Exactly. I don't know if this was from Tumblr or something, but somewhere someone wrote, there are cathedrals everywhere for those with eyes to see. And that's the moth fly.
That's my cathedral, baby.
Uh-huh.
I wonder if I can find a good picture of the face.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm wondering if that's gonna... Oh, don't do that. Okay, if we're gonna sell the moth fly as an adorable, cute, fuzzy little friend, it really has to be a top-down view, I fear.
Uh-oh. Wait, I don't know if I've ever looked for their little face.
I think it has to be a top-down view.
Oh, they're so cute.
Because the face is kind of incomprehensible a little bit. The antennae kind of go directly in front of the eyes, so the eyes are kind of being split into quadrants from the front. Yeah, I don't know if it's my favorite bug face I've ever seen.
Yeah, and from the side, their profile is a little rough too sometimes. But I stand by them. I will not waver in giving them a bazillion out of 10.
And can I tell you what you can do? You flip them around. It's a heart.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's heart-shaped. What more do you need? It's a heart-shaped bug.
Yeah, come on. You can't beat that.
I also feel like a perfect encapsulation of the word bug also. Because it's just a short and stubby little word, like bug is such a short and stubby, punchy little word. And that's what this little guy is.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I'm a bug anarchist. I think it's all bugs. I don't know. Do you have a hard feeling on where you draw the line on the word bug?
Yeah, there are a lot of people who feel very strongly that the word bug should only be applied to the order Hemiptera, aka true bugs. And I think they're allowed to feel their feelings. And I do not feel that way. I think bug is anything that is bug, You
have to just kind of feel that one out.
Yeah, bug is a word you feel. Sometimes it's a moth fly, sometimes it's an isopod, sometimes it's a slug.
It could be a slug. I think slugs is bugs.
Mm-hmm. Slugs is bugs, shrimps is bugs. So
a crab, if small enough, could.
If you feel it in your heart, it's bug.
Listen, sometimes I'm a bug.
So true. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm feeling a little bit like a bug today. So I think, I call my kids bugs. I think bug is just bugs what you make of it.
Yeah, I love that. That sums it up.
In the club, we're all
bug in the club. Yeah.
Well, Emily, where can people learn more from you about bugs and insects? Where can people go to find more of your work?
You can check me out on Instagram, YouTube, upscrolled at Naturalist Co. And that's plural, Naturalists Co. And then you can also check out my postcard club and my pinning club over at theentomologybox.com.
Perfect. Just to put a little bit of more emphasis on your videos that you make online, they are so fun and so cute. You always have the coolest things to say, and they're little shots of bug facts. And it's always every time it's always something that's either about a bug I'd never heard of, or if it's a bug I have heard of, then it's usually something I didn't know that they did, or something I didn't know about them. They're very, very fun. It's a great way to reset your algorithm a little bit. If you've been doom scrolling a little too much, you want some bug facts, a little less doom scrolling, a little more bug facts. Great follow.
Come on over. Yeah. And I have to give a big shout out to iNaturalist, which is a citizen science website where people can upload images of different flora and fauna. And it's a community of people identifying things. And all of my images that I use come from iNaturalist, people who have uploaded their photos under Creative Commons license, specifically to help facilitate educational and research purposes. So shout out to iNaturalist. If you find a cool bug, go put it in iNaturalist and see what people have to say about it. See if you can get an ID.
I have witnessed nerd fights in my iNaturalist comments.
Oh my gosh.
They get so heated because I'll take a picture of one time it was a jumping spider that the girlies could not come to peace over whether it was a regal or a bold jumping spider. I mean, there was significant back and forth between the nerds in the comments of this picture of a jumping spider that I took.
Yeah, I love to see it. And I feel like it really highlights how much we don't know, too, because there are lots of times where I will upload something that I find in the middle of my city. I live in a super urban environment. So you would think it's in the middle of this giant city. Certainly we know what it is, right? And then I upload it and iNaturalist is like, I've never seen that in my life. And that doesn't happen very often. I do. That's like a rare thing that makes me feel very special for finding this special bug. But it just highlights how much we don't know. I mean, it's really incredible. Millions and millions of species out there estimated to be undiscovered. So cool.
You could discover the next one.
Could be. Could be me. Could be you. Could be anyone out there.
Could be any of us. My thing with iNaturalist is that it thinks everything I see is a mule deer.
Oh.
It's all mule deers as far as iNaturalist is concerned. Like 50% of the time, iNaturalist would be like, I think that's a deer.
Yeah, it's sewers and mule deers all the way down.
This is a spider. What are you talking about? Although one time, I guess like where I lived, someone near our neighborhood had a farm and a bunch of pigs broke out of their farm, like escaped from their farm. And there were like 6 pigs like roaming our neighborhood. And this is a very like suburban neighborhood. We were not ready for 6 pigs to descend upon our neighborhood. These are farm pigs. You know, these are the like, what are they, like 800-pound,
they're hungry.
Giant farm pigs rooting through people's yards, digging up the landscaping. It's like 11 p.m. at night. Everyone's outside. We're all just like, what do we do about these 6 pigs? And I did take a picture of the pigs and I did put it on iNaturalist.
Yeah. And did it know they were pigs, or did it think they were mule deers? Okay.
No, they were like, that's a pig for sure, fam. I know exactly what that is.
Yes, iNaturalist W. Yeah.
I mentioned when I was asking you, if you were a lifelong bug fan or if you had been on a bug acceptance journey. I've been on a bug acceptance journey, particularly a spider acceptance journey, because I do feel like even as a little kid, I liked the more palatable bugs. I liked like millipedes, roly-polies, ladybugs, stuff like that. I liked the more easy to get along with bugs, but I've also gotten more bug positive through the years.
Yeah. I also don't want to deny that like insects have created a lot of adaptations to protect themselves, including like stingers and stuff. So caution around bugs, not a bad thing. Totally have caution with them.
Right. Don't go grabbing every bug you see, especially when we lived in Florida, we had things like wheel bugs and stuff like that, where it's like, if you see one of those, you want to give them a nice wide berth.
Yeah, give them their space. Maybe don't grab them.
Be a friend from a distance.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't want all my friends grabbing me either.
Exactly.
You don't have to touch all your friends.
No. If I had a quick and easy way to say, hey, don't touch me, maybe I would. I mean, I guess that's it, actually.
I just did, actually.
Yeah. Oh, wait, my voice.
The English language.
Yeah, they did good work with that.
Yeah. Really cooked with that one, I gotta say.
Shout out to language.
Shout out to language. Gotta be one of my favorite human traits. Do love that one. Where y'all at on that one, moth flies?
Am I the only one who likes language? Yeah.
Nobody's talking about this. Emily, thank you so much for being here. It has been so much fun. I'm so glad that I got to talk to you and that I got to learn about an underappreciated, adorable little bug. Thank you so much for teaching me. Thank you for your time and your knowledge and your love for bugs and sharing the joy of bugs. It has been a delight.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a wonderful time. And keep looking for the little things.
Oh! We shall. Thanks, Emily. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all so much for listening. I hope that this heart-shaped bug has made itself cozy in the biofilm of your heart. If you liked what you heard, I would love it if you left behind some kind words for us in a review on your podcast app of choice. If you want to come hang out with us online, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Discord, Blue Sky. Links to everything will be in the episode description. You can also send me an email at ellen@justthezooofus.com if you have a cool animal you would like to hear us talk about on the show. We'd like to thank thank Maximum Fun for having us on their network alongside their other amazing shows like the ones that you heard promos for during this episode. You can go check those out and learn more about the network and how you can be a part of supporting our show, plus get access to our exclusive monthly bonus episodes over at MaximumFun.org. Finally, we would like to thank Louis Zong for our theme music. That's all for today. We'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.
Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows.
Supported
directly
by you.